Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting. Everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, I apologize in advance because I believe I'm getting sick, so hopefully I don't sound too nasally. I'm doing my best to not sound sick while recording, but I'm hoping my voice doesn't get worse because I do have a sore throat. So it is unfortunate, but we got some juicy drama to talk about right now in regards to Chaos Zero Nightmare. Earlier today, they had an emergency broadcast stream, which was interesting because we haven't heard from them for a hot minute right now, despite some giving, small freebies here and there in the mail. But there's a reason for that. And honestly, for a lot of people who are saying that the launch of Chaos Zero Nightmare was smooth, is far from the truth. Because we've had a lot of translation issues, payment issues where people literally couldn't pay for items, or they paid and they didn't get them, and then they had that fixed. There was issues with the cosmetic gacha where it would actually give you a random 5-star, even though it was supposed to be guaranteed the rate up, which was crazy. There's a lot of gameplay issues and translation issues as well. Not to mention the odd and awkward NTR drama, AI drama, and also story drama right now. And they made an emergency stream to cover all of this. And big shout out to Infamous Jakey on YouTube. We'll be posting him in the description, because he translated pretty much the whole stream. I want to use it to talk about this. So once again, massive shout out to Infamous Jakey. Thank you for making this translation. I'll link it. But let's get started. Let me scoot on over and let's put it on screen right here. And right now we are at Infamous Jakey's YouTube channel because he did make this translation here from Director Kim for this huge summary. So first things first, they did talk about the service and gameplay issues. The developers acknowledged the unstable service, the payment errors that I mentioned before, gacha related bugs with the Prism gacha, and other issues. Other gameplay issues have negatively impacted player enjoyment. The devs emphasize that they are working urgently to resolve all of this, and as an apology, 10 free pulls will be distributed daily for a set period. And the CEO stated, even if it hurts our sales, we'll take that risk because this is our commitment to keep this game alive. And I do want to give them props for that, because this is a game where it's pretty much in line with the industry standard. Like, I know they try to advertise themselves as being slightly more generous, which yes, but I feel like they were more generous in advertising. But still, the fact that they are giving 50 free rate up pulls specifically is kind of crazy. Because if we actually go take a look at the stove post that they made, they stated, what the schedule of the distribution of all of these rewards are going to be. So we're going to be getting 50 pulls within these 5 weeks, which is kind of crazy. The fact that we're going to get 10 pulls every week for the rate up banner, and specifically the rate up banner because it says the signal amplifier anchors. So it's the blue anchors. So it's the ones right now for the rate up for Haru. Those are the ones we're going to be getting. And you can see we're going to be getting them every Sunday after the reset, I assume. So be ready for that. Save your pulls if you're ready for anything. Kind of insane that we are getting that, but also kind of warranted just because of all the issues we've been having. But the fact that it was that generous of a pull, insane. So big dubs for that. But at the same time, I wanted to mention some other stuff because in game right now, they are giving away a bunch of affection materials and stuff to help with getting to affection level 15, and stuff like that is pretty harsh. I know a lot of people are talking about where you have to get to affection 15 for one character, and that's insane. It's a huge, just waiting game, honestly, with trying to just get to 15 at all. And I know they're trying to compensate for that, but they should really lower it. And honestly, a lot of people are having trouble with the stamina gate. Same here. And I feel like instead of going to 60, I think maybe even 40 or 30 would be better as the approach with how much there is. People want to grind the actual game mode. They do not want to grind the typical gear stuff. So hopefully going forward, they also address that, but we'll have to see. Either way, big W on the polls. But we also have the storyline and writing direction. And they apologize for the unsatisfying tone and the narrative structure, which I believe is kind of warranted because they advertised this game as a definitely huge dark horror theme. And the first chapter really represented that. And then it kind of became way more chill later on. And it became a different, more just fantasy narrative, which normal. Which the story's fine, but I definitely think the first chapter is way different than everything else. And they also addressed this. The main character, the MC, felt sidelined and disconnected from the other characters. The relationships and the player engagement throughout the story were poorly handled. The CEO took personal responsibility, admitting that his interference limited writers' creativity and leading to talented writers leaving the team. Remaining writers are working to rebuild the story from scratch. The MC will now be the true center of the story. The certain characters and scenes will be rewritten or adjusted. Main story chapters 1 through 5 will be remade and fully redubbed with voice actors by next year. I think they said Q1 or Q2 of next year is their goal, and to improve the global localization. And this is a lot to unpack, and I want to talk about this. And first off, I already mentioned the unsatisfying tone and narrative structure. That's one thing. And the MC is kind of a weird story because I feel like I don't mind having a main character or even like a, insert. For me, I could care less about insert characters. I just don't care about that. But also, there's no point to this main character because it feels like they don't really contribute much. Like, at times they do, but at other times it really feels like they don't do much. So I understand rewriting them a bit better, and I'm actually hopeful about that. And the relationships and player engagement throughout the story were poorly handled. That part I want to talk about because right now, KR is going through another NTR drama with this game, specifically with the character Owen, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I literally think that the scenes that they're talking about are just them talking to the characters. Like, God forbid another male character talks to another. I think it's ridiculous. And even characters like Lucas or Luke talking to Beryl, I feel like stuff like this is like whatever. I don't mind that at all. And what I'm worried about is that when they decide to rebuild the story from scratch, I really hope that they don't take out the male characters or rewrite them and they're just completely sidelined. Because I actually like the talking, the bantering, and everything. I feel like that contributed to the world building a lot more and just to feel more attached to the characters. I really hope that KR incels didn't screw this up at all. Like, I understand the story sucks, that's one thing. I'm talking about this whole male character thing. I think it's ridiculous. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But it's kind of a shame, but also nice that the CEO did admit that he fucked up with the writers and that he kept trying to like butt in and he ruined it for everybody. So on one hand, it sucks ass that he did that, and it's really unfortunate that it came out this way and the story shows for that. But at the same time, I'm glad that he admitted that and that they are trying to work on this. I'm just worried about how that rewrite is going to look. I really hope it doesn't go in like a Brown Dust 2 direction where they just like remove the main characters or like the male character specifically. And then Q&A highlights MC's power and loop ability. And frequent changes made the story inconsistent. The new storyline will showcase the MC's full potential. And I believe the idea of this whole power and loop abilities, I think you believe in early advertising. They showed off an idea that there would be like a time loop to like rewrite stories or like go back in time real quick to save someone. And I think they stated that this was too complex or something like that, which fair, because especially with having so many banners ahead of time, I don't think that they would like think that far ahead to make this work. So honestly, just going for a normal story and just reworking it, in my opinion, and showing the full potential is actually a better way to go. And then they talked about character relationships and coupling. Acknowledge that the story gave the wrong impression of relationships, and future updates will allow better character bonding and development, which I like, but I'm just scared about how like they rework it, like I mentioned earlier. I don't know. We'll see. Work environment and leadership. The CEO had admitted repeated over-involvement in the story caused harm to the development process, so once again admitting that he fucked up. And hopefully going forward that he just lets the team work and cook and he just stays out of it, because clearly it backfired on him hard. The fact that they had to have this emergency broadcast. And then they were talking about like the this feminist controversy, and they said that they just don't deal with this, and honestly way out of my pay grade here, so just gonna stay out of that one. And then talking about Rin, it was consistent like weird translation errors that came to the Japanese version in comparison to the KR that showed like I guess like I think it was like an affection, like the amount of affection was different. And then they want to change the affinity system, like I mentioned earlier. It sucks, and they're trying to improve it by giving you more material, but that doesn't change the root cause. So hopefully in the future that they do make it easier, but I hope they make it easier for the stamina as well. And they addressed the AI art rumors, and they said that they are committed to transparent and quality control. And I believe they said that I think right now that there is no AI. Whether you agree with that or not, it's just up in the air. I'm just saying even Nikkei uses AI stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But if they lied like this, it's kind of shitty, but I don't know. We'll see. Then they addressed the business model, which is, everything, the gacha. Pricing model was based on being 30% cheaper than Genshin Impact, but they will increase event rewards to improve player satisfaction. And I believe right now, I think event rewards, you only get like 3 pulls, I think, from like Haru's event, like the complete thing, I think you only get 3 of those Rada pulls, so hopefully we see that in the future. We get more pulls, so that's great. Chaos mode and gameplay improvements. They want to improve it. We'll bring a major system and mode enhancements in the future. And the delayed responses was to fixing everything. And they're just basically saying like, please don't be too harsh on them, you know, just it's on me. And they're going to try to fix this. So overall, interesting stream, especially to cover the weird, you know, NTR stuff, but also addressing real problems with the game and addressing some of that fuck ups that came from the CEO was crazy. And the fact that we're getting free pulls, even better. But interesting overall. Honestly, overall, I'm just hoping that nothing happens with the other characters because I do like them. I'm interested in what the rewrite is going to look like because I'm already past chapter 5. But my problem is, how is that going to work with the other characters? Hopefully they don't get sidelined. We'll have to see. But hey, still, free pulls either way. And if you're just chilling and you didn't know any of this was going on, even better, you get free pulls for nothing. So that's cool. But that is going to be it for me, so I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from, and as always, big shout out to Infamous Jakey for this whole translation thing. Thank you so much. Link in the description as always, but that is going to be it for me, so take care guys, and have a good one.